Okay, we're back, and I had a little Twitter debate with somebody. I'm not gonna mention who. They're supposed to be on for a debate, but I don't think that they're available for technological reasons. And they're putting forward a stance that the WNBA or women's athletics is for some reason better than men's athletics. And I have to say that that might be one of the most wrong things I've ever heard. There's absolutely no way that anybody, especially in the game of basketball, anybody can make the point that the WNBA might be one of the best, better than the NBA, first of all, or better. And in fact, I would propose that even the best teams in the WNBA probably could not compete against men's NCAA teams in basketball. And I'll pose for you. This is from a. Let me see here. This is from a group, or this is from, I guess. 1 second. I had the link there. Guess I don't have it. Here we go. So this is the women's soccer team at St. Mary's, which is I think it's either in California or in Massachusetts. And it was between the men's soccer team and the women's basketball team in basketball. All right. So there, in fact, you saw that the women's basketball player, had stepped out of bounds, and they didn't call, a turnover on her. So I want to emphasize this. This was a Division I women's basketball team that lost the game of basketball to the men's soccer team. So I don't know who wants to make the point that women's basketball could be in any way on a competitive level with men's basketball when you have. And by the way, that's something that was very typical of the college I went to. The women's basketball team, that not only would they not practice against women, they would practice against people who were usually, just dudes off the street. They would recruit them. That's what was so funny about it. That I knew people who were in their early 30s, who were, my age now, who were playing against Division I women's basketball players as a practice. Yeah. And the reason is that you can see from that video that the rebounding was skewed to the men, that the the women weren't able to really. I think in terms of agility, that's really the characteristic that most gives the men an advantage. Men are able to, their vertical leap is higher in every possible. And by the way, they're in terms of speed and endurance. I think that you have a little more parity there, but I would still give the edge to the men. But we're not talking about statistics in that case today. I think I'll save that for a more formal debate. And this is reflected in the ratings. So this friend of mine who I was talking to online made the point that in terms of sponsorship, etc., that the WNBA was better. Well, the fact is, and I don't understand why they do it, but the NBA doesn't allow sponsorship on their jerseys during the regular season, to my knowledge. Excuse me. So you see here, you have the I think there's the LA Sparks and the Minnesota Lynx, who are the top teams in the NBA. And the Lynx are sponsored by the Mayo Clinic, which is a local Minnesota, hospital. So according to ESPN, which aired the WNBA finals for the 15th straight year, the 2017 series was the highest rated since 2003. The series averaged a 0.5 metered market rating, 24% up from 2016. Wednesday night's Game 5, in which the Lynx defeated the Sparks 85-76 to capture their 4th title in 7 years, was the most watched WNBA Finals game since 2003, per ESPN, despite going up against the NL wildcard game on TBS. We've got to be careful projecting a well-rated series forward or assuming this is some turning point for the WNBA. This isn't the first time the league has posted strong viewership numbers, and while it is certainly the most successful women's sports league in American history, it still hasn't gained too much ground in the national sporting conversation. Some of the strong rating for the 2017 finals was a highly appealing matchup. The Lynx and Sparks were meeting for the 3rd straight year, looking to break the tie in their trilogy. They were both great teams with big-name crossover stars in Maya Moore and Candace Parker, as well as top players like Sylvia Fowles, Simone Augustus, Nneka Ogwumike, Odyssey Sims, and Chelsea Gray. If any WNBA matchup was going to draw solid viewership, it was this one. Obviously, the WNBA is not a huge ratings bonanza for ESPN, but this series shows that a fairly robust audience exists for the league. And if ESPN can draw more than 500,000 viewers on Wednesday night when they have no other live rights, no one in Bristol is going to complain. So a 0.5 rating, to be clear, is like nothing. I think the Oscars gets a 17.0 rating or something. This is like basically, it doesn't make any sense. 1 second, let me just text my brother. Hold on. Sorry about that. That was my brother. Wanted to call him back. In any case, so this was their best rating since 2003, and they registered a 0.5. I believe that for the NBA, a 10.5 5 rating for one game and that was like a game 1, was considered a bad rating. It was like down, I think, by half a rating point from last year. So that's how bad the WNBA is, to try to get up to the level of the NBA. And then you have this from 2010 from Jeff Pearlman, who, by the way, I'm not a huge fan of, because he wrote the story that basically slandered John Rocker. It says, I can present 1,000 pounds of the world's most delicious Swiss chocolate to my sofa. It will never take a bite. I can hook up Gene Simmons with the best vocal coach humanity has to offer, and his singing won't improve. Dogs don't speak fluent Spanish. Penguins don't enjoy mahjong. My late grandmother can no longer bake cookies, and my cell phone refuses to walk to the refrigerator and grab me a Yoo-hoo. Trust me, I've asked. In other words, some things are simply impossible. They have not happened. They will not happen. They cannot happen. Enter the WNBA. America's lone professional women's basketball league is in its 14th season of existence. So this was written in 2010. Actually, I think it's in its 14th season of seasons of existence, but I'm not sure, because nobody watches the WNBA, nobody discusses the WNBA, nobody seems especially interested in the WNBA. If a basketball league falls in the summer and nobody cares, is it still a basketball league? During the past 1.5 decades, absolutely, positively, everything under the sun has been tried in the name of WNBA popularity. There have been creative ad campaigns and admirable player outreach efforts. There has been expansion and relocation and contraction, blockbuster trades, and highly touted number 1 picks. In 2007, the WNBA and ESPN reached an 8-year television agreement, thus assuring high-impact exposure. WNBA players take part in the NBA's All-Star Weekend, and at the conclusion of all games, sign autographs until their fingers bleed. When Lisa Leslie and Candace Parker dunked, the videos were distributed en masse and replayed hundreds of times. So it's a big thing when these players dunk. That's how pathetic it is. Writers know, I'll say what nobody else has, the dunks were boring. Yes, they were women, and that's sort of cool, but a straight-ahead dunk is a straight-ahead dunk. Or, as a wise man once said, if Darwin Cook can do it, it's not so special. I have to agree with him there. We have Ryu Shiska here. Welcome, man. TM Ryder. So you guys have made it like regular to show up. Despite all this, however, the league continues to dwell in anonymity. The action is all but ignored by the media, reduced to a tiny standings box on the bottom of the local newspaper's Agate section. So this was back in 2010 when people actually watched newspapers, but it's true. When the 2009 5-game championship series between Phoenix and Indiana averaged a puny 0.4 rating on ESPN2, that's 548,000 viewers by comparison, and it's admittedly not a fair one. Game 5 of the NBA Finals drew 18.2 million viewers. The league celebrated the 73% rise from the previous season as if it had discovered a new planet. In other words, the WNBA's emergence is a mathematical, sociological impossibility. It has not happened. It will not happen. It cannot happen, no matter how many women dunk, no matter how incredible the playoff action might seem. No matter if the league expands to Las Vegas and Cancun, which it did expand to Las Vegas, and hires the cast members of Glee to hand out $100 bills to every customer, well, the WNBA is what it is, a fringe entity. I couldn't tell you most of the teams in the league, said Russ Bankston, the former editor of Slam magazine and as devoted a basketball junkie as the world knows. I couldn't name the Liberty starting 5 or the Chicago starting 5. I couldn't tell you who the top 3 draft picks were. In fact, I'm not sure whether I could tell you who the number 1 pick was without a hint, except for the tiny fan base. People just don't have an interest. For the past 14 years, league employees have been trying to figure out why. Surveys have been conducted. Marketing experts have tossed out every possible slogan. This year's expect great. The answer simply is simple. And at this point, obvious. The majority of sports fans simply don't crave women's professional basketball. They just don't. As blessed as women like Parker and Lauren Jackson and Diana Taurasi are at basketball, their skills are not in visual demand. Basketball fans want to see LeBron James dunk and Josh Smith soar through the air and Ron Artest lock down on an opposing score. They want to see Ray Allen launch a 3 from the middle of nowhere and Dwight Howard hit the rim with his forehead. As the columnist Debbie Schlussel once wrote, the WNBA is the light beer version of basketball. The only The only difference is nobody's saying tastes great, less filling about this. There's no solution to this problem, no magical cure just waiting to be unleashed. Sue Bird will never be Darren Williams, and Darren Williams, by the way, was never that great. And Tamika Catchings will never be Carmelo Anthony. If the NBA feels larger than life, the NBA feels like, well, life. Nice, solid, pedestrian life. Yawn. So I think he did a good job there, as much as I dislike Jeff Pearlman. And here, I mean, I think we're going to finish up. This doesn't have to be that long of a stream because I was just making a point. There's the top 5 WNBA dunks in history as of 2015. Does that seem any? I mean, this type of dunk probably happens like 3 or 4 times a game in the NBA. So again, this one is a one-handed side dunk. Again, without a defender. So look again. I think there might have been a replay anyway. There was no defender on her. Uncontested. That's your amazing dunk on this, a side dunk in the NBA, WNBA. So they're celebrating a two-handed slam dunk.
And they saying, oh no, not her. Don't let Brittany Griner be the one out on the break. She got it.
And again, that was a fast break dunk that she took and slammed head on. That's not that big of a move in any other in any other aspect of basketball. Well, we'll see some real dunks in a second. We'll try to. I hope this one's a little shorter, but we won't go through the whole thing. Here we go. Another Brittany Griner dunk. So, again, uncontested. None of these are contested dunks. Yeah, I got a comment from Jeffrey Allen Johnson who says, "Big fucking deal. My 15-year-old will rip the backboard off." Yeah, I had a friend who, everybody has had that friend who could dunk in high school. It was always a dude. Women's basketball is not that great, and if anybody wants to talk about other things besides dunks, I mean, three-point shooting in the NBA is from a further point than in the WNBA. The ball is also larger in the NBA than it is in the WNBA. 15-year-old, granted, he's 6'3". Well, I mean, that's the truth. The average height of an NBA athlete. Okay, so average height. Let me see here. So this is from Slate again, slate.com. Why are there so few dunks in women's basketball? And it says right here, the average WNBA player at just under 6 feet is about 7 inches shorter than her male counterpart. Average data for all collegiate female players isn't available. Height is only part of the problem, though. Plenty of 6-foot male players can dunk. The gender gap and this is from Slate. This isn't from, you know, let's say it's not from Outkick the Coverage. Since you have to get your fingers about 6 inches above the rim to have a chance at dunking, a female player of average leaping ability would have to be around 6'6" with a standing reach of 8'11". The approximate measurements for Michael Jordan, his airness reportedly had a 48-inch vertical leap. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe it. Few female players are that tall, and none of those giants is an exceptional player. So let's look at some real. I mean, you saw those gems, those dunks. Here's some real dunks.
Here comes Chris Paul. The lob. The jam!
I'm getting this internet crap again.
Here comes Chris Paul. The lob. The jam! Oh, what a monster jam by DeAndre Jordan! Oh!
Look at Blake. Look at the bench. Lamar Odom walked all the way down to the other end of the floor with almost...
That's what you call a contested dunk.
Good defense.
Okay, here we go.
Lead pass.
Whoa! Stop it! Stop it! They not do him like that!
That was, I think, Derrick Rose. No, it wasn't Derrick Rose.
Get the memo! Derrick Rose!
Yeah, it was Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose isn't that tall.
He double clutches this. Watch this.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, he actually pumps this ball. Watch.
I want to go higher! Oh my goodness! Dragic! Somebody grab Dragic and say, do you know who this kid is? He is from Chicago. He has a 40-inch vertical. And you are, where's my poster machine? This is what I need, my poster machine.
He stabilized it at times.
Here we go, Shaq. This is a beauty here.
Against Dudley. Nice. Shaquille O'Neal was so powerful on that move that Dudley could not even foul him. He just got...
That's the Chris Dudley dunk. That's one of the greatest, most disrespectful dunks ever. You know, he's going up against a guy who, you know, could conceivably, I guess, defend against him, and he just pushes him right out the way and dunks on him like a friggin', you know, like he's stepping on a mushroom on his front lawn or something.
Overpowered by Shaquille O'Neal. But Dudley is now drawing with Shaq and threw the ball in his direction. Man, if you want to pick somebody...
You see Glenn Rice in the previous frame. That guy was a great shooter, by the way.
Jason Terry, good defense. Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers, Cole, James! Whoa!
That was LeBron James with the Heat. That's say what you want about him, but that was an amazing... That's the type of stuff you see every day in the NBA.
Now it looked like he jumped out of the mezzanine to dunk this ball. Just watch as they lay it up there. Watch this.
Again, a contested dunk. That's a big difference. All the dunks you saw in the WNBA were uncontested.
That's sending it down with some power.
Bear for a wide open jumper, missed the shot. Quickly up the court, Brooks to Green. Oh, did he go up the ladder? Gerald Green.
Okay, in this one, we're not talking about contested, but that was an acrobatic showboat dunk. That's something you, again, definitely will not see in the WNBA.
Man.
Yeah, metadata, man.
That still got him up.
Let's go back to Gerald Green's alley-oop. Watch how he catches it and swings it around. Windmill. Look at how high his head.
Yeah, his head was at the rim.
Michael, get it forward to the fresh shot clock. MJ. Oh, he did it! Michael
Michael shakes the finger, but he finally got his dunk on Mount Matumbo.
He never.
Do you realize how big of he dunked on Dikembe Mutombo, the Mr. And he did the finger thing too. So
Dunked on you.
He did it! Michael shakes the finger, but he finally got his dunk on Mount Matumbo.
He never dunked on you. He never put you on the highlight.
No. He said, I would love to have you in my poster, but it's not happening.
It's not going to happen. You know he's lying.
Here comes George, got the step and stuffs one move and counts on the foul. He beat LeBron James with that quick step. A sensational move by Paul George.
Okay, that's Paul George
We
versus
are seeing a
LeBron James
superstar in the making here with Paul George. Gets the step on LeBron James. The Birdman is.
Do you realize how are there any defenders in the WNBA of the talent of LeBron James or Chris Anderson? Because Chris Anderson was a great defender and rebounder, and LeBron James is a great all-around player, and yet Paul George was able to dunk on them both in one play. This is a great play. So far, I think at the moment this is probably the best play that I've seen during this clip.
Just a little bit late.
Goal defense, and that says a lot. Here comes McCready. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building. What a play by T-Man.
You don't see this kind of energy and passion. It's playoff time. Look at the extension. Sean Bradley.
The crowd is oohing.
You have I think Tracy McGrady was 6'3" dunking on Sean Bradley, who I believe is like 6'7", 7'7" or something. Sean Bradley was one of the tallest, but also most unathletic players in the league.
He was looking for contact from Jermaine O'Neal, got a piece of it. Wade, facial! Yes, and the foul! Wade going right.
So that was Dwayne Wade of Miami dunking against Anderson Varejao of Cleveland.
Got a piece of it. Wade, facial! Yes, and the foul!
Let's see if they do a slow replay. I don't think that was enough for me.
Well, this is a reversal of fortune. First, LeBron James tries to test Jermaine O'Neal and gets it sent back. And Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your Kodak moment, Anderson Varejao.
A standing ovation for Dwayne Wade.
Davis with a rip away. He'll run with Palacio. Ricky to the hole.
Well, I dare him to try that again. Now that I know where I didn't know he was going to try to dunk it. I'd have blocked it. I thought he was going to lay it in, so I tried to take the charge.
He actually cheapened the dunk by his reactions afterwards because the dunk was good.
Down low for Dominique. Baseline drive. Dominique. Oh my goodness! Did you see that jam? I don't know how he did that. Dominique.
That was one of the most fantastic dunks of all time.
So that was not Daryl Dawkins. That was Dominic Wilkins doing that. That was a pretty tough one too, because he had to do the side dunk to get up there. That was amazing. That was the NBA back when it was. And you know what? The NBA is still good in terms of that type of talent. It just the matchups and the teams don't matter. That's why I'm so down on the NBA. Where's a video of you dunking on some dude? I think the only thing I've ever dunked are Oreos. I was more of a I was more of a shooter if I did play basketball. I was never. First of all, I'm only about 5'8", and I also suffer from the Caucasoid disorder. So no, I've never dunked on anybody, and I don't plan to. Our freshman boys got piss tested 8 times last season for PEDs because all were 6 foot or above, passed every time, pure grade A Kansas beef. Good for you, Jeffrey. So this is John Starks. I think dunking on Horace Grant or Bill Cartwright or whatever for the Bulls. Yeah, dunking on Horace Grant. Yeah, John Starks was a short dude. I don't know if we'll go through this entire video. I think you guys get the point, but I mean, these are some amazing plays. Okay, so this one, before we go forward, this is one of the greatest clips in NBA history. Here we go. Points right at him. That's Sean Kemp on Alton Lister. So I can remember those names for so long because that was one of the most memorable plays of all time. There is no comparable play in the WNBA ever. And you know, this was a dunk I think that happened in 1995 and people still remember it. I think most Warriors fans can't remember it because at the time they were probably Lakers fans or they were Bulls fans or something. There were no Warriors fans back in 1995 when Sean Kemp was dunking on Alton Lister. I can dunk and I'm okay. Go ahead. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't jump. I'm like probably the least athletic. The only thing I can probably do is, you know, I do get into boxing to a certain extent. You know, I've never been a competitive
like that really
in any of these sports.
Take a look here. See, he's got the quick first step, and then it's elevation. City, he just keeps going.
A lot bigger, yeah, horizontally bigger, man. Jeffrey Allen Johnson.
Going and going, up higher and higher.
Around the Griffin screen, pick, roll, slam dunk! Oh, me, oh my, what a play! He stopped about 3 feet short of the rim and just threw it down.
Ralph, it's like the elevator went to the 3rd floor and paused, and he got fouled, and he said, I got to go another level. Watch this play. Look at this.
That is amazing.
So this is, for those of you that don't know, this is Blake Griffin dunking on Timofey Mozgov, a giant Russian statue. And look at that. Can you do that in the WNBA? That's actually not quite a dunk, though. So I think you have to put an asterisk on that.
Ginobili on the finish! Flushes it with the left hand.
But Manu Ginobili turned back the hands of time, flushing it.
Okay, this is Manu Ginobili. I don't skip leg day. I actually do leg day all the time. I probably should. If anything, I do leg day too often. Manu Ginobili, a guy not known for his dunking and vertical abilities. He's more of like a solid 2-guard, I think, if I remember correct. Or was Ginobili a small forward? Let me see. Manu Ginobili. What position did he play? This is better than talking politics all the time. You know what? It's good. This is much better. It's much more refreshing. Ginobili was a shooting guard, and he dunks over, if you look at that clip. So we're going to rewind.
But
Fans can hardly believe what.
7:30.
Elevation City, he just
tried to dunk it, I'd have blocked it.
I lost my place here because of this damn internet. I think I saw Danny Knapp dunking like that. Yeah, dunking donuts probably. I was just trolling his stream, by the way. Trolling him. He was ranting about some right winger ranting. So what does that make you? Just reacting to somebody else's ranting. Danny Knapp. Danny Knapp spends an hour trying, we're debating Nicaragua, his only point is that the Contras in the 80s were undermining the government, and that's why he thinks that they have problems today. Perseus Gold, boo his talk about Tavor rifles gunning down ungovernable Palestinians. Tavor needs more cred as a good rifle manufacturer as well as possible moving parts. I'm not that big of a gun. I'm not that knowledgeable about guns, to tell you the truth. Like, so, you know, for what it's worth, I don't think I'd be very entertaining in that respect. Okay, I think we're back. Back to the Sean King clip. Sean Kemp, I mean.
Carter elevates and throws it down. My goodness.
Plays like that really energize your ball club.
That's
Take
Vince Carter dunking on,
and then it's elevation city. He just
Mutombo.
keeps going and going.
That's pretty amazing.
Around the Griffin screen, pick, roll, slam dunk. Oh, me, oh my, what a play. He stopped about 3 feet short of the rim and just threw it down.
Ralph, it's like the elevator went to the 3rd floor and paused, and he got fouled. He said, I got to go another level. Watch this play.
Yeah, Perseus Gold, as few as possible moving parts. That's a great point. That you're right about. I don't think you have to be a gun expert to know that the more moving parts you have on any machine, the more things can go wrong. That's why the AK-47 is traditionally one of the most preferred ones. And Jeffrey just brought it up. So thank you, Jeffrey.
Look at this.
That is amazing.
He never touched the rim with his hands.
Yeah, that's not really a dunk. Not Ginobili dunk.
They've gone cold. Ginobili on the finish. Flushes it with the left hand.
So we'll wait for the replay. That you have him, Ray Allen, Udonis Haslem right behind him. You have Chris Bosh in his face. So Allen is not traditionally a huge defender, but he really tried there. Chris Bosh.
They're really letting him play. It's a physical game.
Chris Bosh is an amazing. I mean, I wouldn't say he's an amazing defender, but he was a good one. And Haslem was always a pretty good defender. I think we are going to play this out. I don't care anymore. I'm having fun here.
Blake.
So again, you have Blake Griffin over Serge Ibaka.
Jam by Blake Griffin. Oh, what a play by Blake. The fans can hardly believe what they just saw.
Is it possible to top what he did last year?
Almost a Mozgov.
It's better than a Mozgov. I didn't think it was possible to top him. Look at that play.
The Lakers, because of this man, Kobe Bryant, can take over.
So here you have Kobe.
As DeShaun Stevenson looking to for that.
Kobe, yeah, that's DeShaun Stevenson on the Hornets. Wow. And Dwight Howard, he dunked on Dwight Howard. Can you believe that? There's Julius Erving, of course.
And the doctor made a sensational play. Get Hamilton hopefully another scoring option and a different.
The windmill dunk, that was pretty rare back in the day. Then you have James dunking on
right up with the rim. James comes
the Chicago Bulls.
And another dunk.
You see that? Yeah, you'll never have an alley-oop dunk in the WNBA ever. Never. It's not going to happen because they can't get the elevation in order to get up there and receive the pass and then dunk. So you see Taj Gibson over there. This is technically uncontested.
I just went to go get it.
Lastly, the intensity level. This did not.
Because the guy never saw him. He just went basically right over him.
Okay. Goodness. Okay. And move here by LeBron.
That's LeBron James.
The double goes up. Here's the contest.
Another one.
It looks like maybe the follow-through hand by Ibaka.
Yeah, that one's on Ibaka again. Dr. J was
my goodness, a Statue of Liberty dunk.
Trailblazer. Not literally a trailblazer.
Wow, that was impressive.
Played for Portland, but no.
Knocked away by Arenas. Ahead to Jason. Look out! Oh my goodness! They're standing in the arena on that.
I know who those guys are.
Carter's got it. Carter drives. Oh! Big finish. Vince Carter with a brilliant dunk. Vince Carter just took the imaginary ladder.
Gets it back out. Ori drives all the way in and with a left hand with a dunk.
You got Robert Horry here, one of my all-time favorites. Played for Alabama in college.
Ori drives all the way in. Now this is just a great goal. This is his second.
Hurt himself there.
Trying to go to crossover and lost.
Robert Horry, seven NBA titles. Do you think the WNBA could use the concepts like a different shaped court to change the game enough to make it interesting to watch? Or will women's physical limitations always restrict female sports? I think the WNBA has tried a number of things, and the fact of the matter is that at a certain point, if you change too many things, people start saying, well, it's not really basketball. That's what they did with softball, by the way. Softball is basically baseball with a smaller diamond and a bigger ball that you throw underhanded. So, I mean, what do you want? Do people watch fast-paced softball?
Hill delivering to. Oh! And the foul!
Even Shaq talking to the crowd, he knew that. Look at the East bench. The East bench is up there acknowledging a vicious tomahawk dunk.
Yeah, going up against David Robinson.
Poster is that going to be?
Garnett comes out on LeBron. Now they switch, and here's Pierce again. A Smith screen. Posey will defend. Oh! LeBron James, with no regard for human life, has given the Cavaliers their biggest lead tonight.
Kevin Garnett is defending in the dunk tournament. And Kevin Garnett's a beast too.
Boy, he has not been able to get in the lane, but man, oh man, what a punctuating dunk from LeBron James.
In the quarter for LA and in your face, Kevin Johnson. Oh my!
That's a former mayor of Sacramento over there, by the way, if you didn't know. Kevin Johnson was the mayor of Sacramento.
This is a huge effort by Kevin Johnson, knowing this is the only way you're going to get there, and Olajuwon picks up his fifth. That's a highlight.
I think that this might be Detlef Schrempf, but I don't remember. It doesn't look like he's in Seattle. I don't know who this is, but he's basically this is like the most contested you can get. He's just going right over the guy.
Puts his shoulder down. To the rock and he rocks the rim. Over Hot Rod Williams. Kevin Johnson.
So Hot Rod Williams used to play here. Yeah, this is for the Cavaliers. He just does the pony ride on him. That's the famous Scottie Pippen on Patrick Ewing dunk, and he just goes over and tells Spike Lee to shut up, bitch. Spike Lee, a man who probably could never play basketball except for, you know, on one of those plastic hoops that are up to your knee.
Evan George locates the double team O'Neal. Horn, Fisher, nice rotation of Bryant. Buckle up for Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant just sucked the gravity out of the target center. What a play!
just injured that shoulder a little bit more. The windmill slam.
You realize how difficult it is to do that.
That brought everybody out of their seat. With personal foul.
Well, Kobe's been quiet here. He does a great job going in over the 2 7-footers. Oh, my goodness. That was sweet. And then, you know what? How many times have we talked about when you go in and you make a great play like that at the basket, when those 3 points come out, how easy it looks.
Pippen gets it to Jordan. Michael challenges and slams. And it was a foul. It wasn't there. Michael in on top. Everybody, 49. Michael Jordan, look at this, tongue out over Alonzo Mourning. Yes! And after he comes down, he says, Yahoo! Oh, I thought he bit his tongue.
And then getting the basketball, because a lot of good things will happen, not just with him scoring, but then also it open up. Oh, man! Hello.
We got Baron Davis for the Warriors. It's a pretty funny photo. Anyway, that's it. I mean, I don't know how anybody can actually argue that the WNBA is in any way better, in any way, shape, or form than the NBA. Now, you have next, like over here, you have, what's it called? Above me are the 3 WNBA stars at the beginning. This was, what's her name? Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, and I think this is Cheryl Swoops. Well, I mean, those were people who were household names at the time for like a year because they were endlessly pumping the airways with propaganda. Like, I wouldn't say propaganda, but, marketing over, oh, the WNBA is here, women finally get a shot or whatever. Since then, almost nobody cares. I don't think anybody would care to watch a WNBA game, regular season, or in the playoffs. It's basically, I think WNBA playoff games and WNBA championship games get lower ratings than regular season NBA games between 2 shitty teams. So that's about it for today. I don't know if there will be a stream later. I haven't seen any confirmation from somebody that I was supposed to chat with. But I guess, please share this video. Again, you can send me any links that you want to my email. I think my email is in the description. Let me check. It's so it's chefleopardyt@gmail.com right over here. So you can send me anything you want to talk about by there. You can see all my links below here. Steemit, GAB.IA. Actually, the Steemit has to be updated because I have a different one now. Minds.com, BitChute, and Twitter. And that's about it. So please subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe, share, like the video, and we'll talk later.